to talk about the JB4 install. There's a few things you got to consider. Just basically with your 91 octane premium wherever you're at. I know there's a few states that have actually 93, which is better, but map 1 kind of gives you a little bit. To me it was negligible on my Draggy tests and things like that. I'll post those, but in general, if you want to go to map 2 and beyond, you need to re-gap your spark plugs. You can either re-gap your stock ones, which some people do in the forums, or go with HKS. I'm actually running a test on the HKS 1,000 miles, and I'll make a video on that to see how those perform and whether or not they loosen up their torque after 1,000 miles. So more to follow on that. But the main thing you got to consider is spark plugs. You're gonna have to increase your fuel octane. So to run map 2, you need 93. If you don't have 93, you're gonna have to run a mix, and I'll have another video explaining the ethanol mix. So to run map 3, you're gonna need recommended up to E30. So I'm running an E26 just to kind of keep myself in a safe zone and staying away from the E30 mark, because if you follow the strict owner's guide, you can only run E15. So you have to make a decision on what you can afford to do. This is grown-up stuff. So yeah, if you go ahead and want to run map 2 or 3, you're going to need the better fuel and better spark plugs. So those are kind of like the updates to consider. I'm also running a mileage test to see what my miles per gallon has changed over time, and so I'll edit that into this video, and I'll edit in like basically the install tips, and I'll put in the description all the different videos that help me with the JB4 and who's running it and how to install it and some other considerations, and I'll put that in the video as well. So what's the main difference with the JB4 is if you're running map 2 or 3, it makes it more stout. So I compare it to driving a Mustang GT or a Camaro, not the fully souped up ones, but your base 300 horsepower models, 350s, stuff like that. So it feels, it pulls a lot better, and so it does. The main thing it does is it makes your car a lot more fun. So you might be asking yourself, will the JB4 avoid my warranty? Well, anything you do to your car, according to how the warranty is currently written at Hyundai and Kia, can void your warranty. If you do anything to your car by yourself and the shop doesn't do it, you can void your warranty. So again, anything you want to do, you have to make grown-up decisions and figure out what you can afford to do, what you're willing to pay for and do yourself, and are you going to rely on the quality of your Kia just to last you no matter what you do to it. So they've had a good reputation. I've been using them for more than 15 years now, and have never had any issues. Anything that went wrong with my car, even when technically it was my fault, they still fix it for me. So I've had no problems with my dealerships. You might have problems with yours in your area, but we're a Lone Star state, so we have a lot better rules here. So again, it's up to you, and you still have to make that decision yourself. What I will tell you is do not drive up into your dealership with a JB4 connected to your car, because that would just be stupid. So make sure you take it out before you go there. Also, if you have a cold air intake, take that off, put your stock stuff back in. Make your car look stock. It only takes you about an hour. Put it back to stock before you take it in. Just don't give anybody reasons to void your warranty by you being stupid or lazy. So running the JB4 does make a night and day difference. I am now within, I think, 0.02 seconds or 0.03 seconds of being as fast as a stock Volkswagen GTI. And that's saying a lot because GTIs are very powerful 2.0 cars and very, very quick, very fun. But I do like the styling of the K5 better. So if I can have the best of both worlds, that's what I was going for. We'll give you a tip on when you do your firmware updates, you are going to want to position your phone like I'm going to show you on the screen. I'm going to put a picture in there of where I put my phone. Just because if you want to try to send a signal through the firewall and everything like that, you get a really low signal. So you want to put it right next to your Bluetooth dongle, just like it's shown in the photo. Because as a software developer, I know how important it is and what happens if you're installing firmware and you lose connectivity. It's very, very bad. Another thing to consider about your JB4, if you do the JB4, is you're going to have to be able to read the different indicators, the dashboard, if you will, that comes with the mobile, unless you choose to go with a laptop version to save money. But I don't recommend that, because when you're changing boost and things with your car, you're going to want to know how your car is performing as far as temperature, trans temp, engine temp, water temp, all that, air temp, to make sure that there's nothing that's going to injure your car and thus void your warranty. So you're going to learn how to read all that. You're going to have to learn how to read the different reports that come out of there, and their graphic reports. I'll do a separate video on the app itself, and then that is specific to K5, because there's different things that you can have if you have a different model car. But I've noticed that K5 has specific things, so I'll do something separate for that. What you don't want to do is put something in your car you don't know how it works. You don't know the technology. You don't know how to read anything, because then you just become really annoying if you're in a Facebook group or a forum, because you didn't want to do your homework. But I'll try to make some videos to make it easy, because I teach computer programming and things. So I'll try to use some of those tips on how to understand things and break things down for you. But yeah, you're gonna have to learn some stuff if you choose to go this route, or you're going to be at the risk of fate, and just letting fate happen to you, or run around like the sky's falling asking everybody to read your logs for you. That's dumb. So don't do that. Don't be annoying. Do your homework if you're going to decide to do this. Again, this is grown-up stuff, not for the faint of heart, and not for people that can't afford it. So I did want to clarify about logs. With each map, you're going to send the log in as instructed to, just to make sure that everything's running good. But after that, you need to learn to read your own logs. Another thought is, I know there's some people that want to buy used JB4s. I recommend you buy it new if you're a person of means, just because you're continuing to contribute to the industry. And if you can, go ahead and just buy it new. That way you're not tracking down some problem that's from the previous owner. Just like all my computers, I never buy a used computer for that reason. If I can afford a new computer, buy it new so I know there's no problems with the computer. Same thing with the JB4, buy it new so you know there's no problems with it. Somebody didn't yank the cables or mistreat it or overheat it. Buy new, support the industry. That's what I'm getting at. So now, since this channel is about the art and science of the technology that we're using for the K5s, let's go through the Draggy results. Okay, so what you're looking at is the map test with the AC and ECS on all of these tests. So to keep everything consistent, I test in the same spot with the same conditions, just to control as much that I can to make sure everything stays scientific. So this first test is map 1 running 91 octane. My previous direct altitude was 6593, but today it's 5490, which is a decrease of 1,103. The 0-60 time before was 8.33, and then it is 8.14 after, making a 0.19 difference, or a 2.3% gain. The G, which I'm indicating for torque, was a 0.625 before, and then it's now a 0.637 after, resulting in a 0.012, or a 1.9% gain. And as far as the mile per gallon change running map 1, there was really no noticeable change as far as improvement there, just so you know. I'm going to show the baseline. This is without my turbo inlet, the custom turbo inlet. This is just with the K&N and the Borla, and that's marked in the gray. And what you see in the blue is the slope that I'm testing on. Yeah, ideally it'd be flat, but the safe area where I'm at is on a slope. And on the right hand side you see the speed going from 0 on the bottom left all the way to 60 on the top right. And this is an overlay of the turbo inlet and the effect it has had on the speed of the car and the performance. You can see those peaks at the beginning, right at that first intersection in the grid. And you can already see the performance shifting that speed line to the left. Once you look above 30, it's giving you an increase in speed, and then it kind of evens out once you get up to 60. Now you're looking at the baseline, which is that gray line in the background. The black line is the difference the turbo inlet made, and I'm overlaying map 1 results on top of that, and that's the orange and the blue line that's above it. And so you can see the map 1 delays a little bit from the stock and the turbo inlet. You can see at the orange line when it starts on the far left, there's like a delay, a little bit of delay, and then you start getting power. If you follow the orange line where the peaks are, you get a little bit longer amount of power, and then it flows down after that. A pretty good gain overall, all the way up to 60. Now let's look at map 2, and this is running E26. Comparing from my previous run, or the first run, the DA was 6593, and then today it's 5704 at this particular time. So it's a decrease of 889. My the 60 before was 8.33, and now it's improved to a 7.94, equals a 0.2 improvement, or a 4.9% gain overall. As far as the G-force, The original was 0.625, and after it's reached 0.688, equaling a 0.51 10% overall gain. As far as miles per gallon, this I did notice a 1.4 mpg increase in running map 2. So map 2 does give you a little bit better gas mileage. Now you're looking at map 2 overlaid the original stock, or almost stock, then the turbo inlay, and then the red is all of what map 2 is doing. And you can kind of see the peaks are larger, and now there's no delay, it's a little bit faster, if you will, at the beginning, because what you're looking at with the jagged line is the torque, well, G-force, if you will, which is closest to torque. There you see definite gains all the way throughout, and the speed is pretty close on the angle of it. Now let's look at map 3. This is also running on E26. Original DA was 6593, and today at this time it's 5901, which is a 692 decrease. My 0 to 60 time originally was at 8.33, and now it's gone down to a 7.82, equaling a 0.51 improvement. In other words, a 6.5% overall gain. The G originally was 0.625, and now it's up to a 0.73, which is equals to a 0.105, or in other words, a 16.8% gain running the JB4. So as far as the map 3 mile per gallon improvement, I was experiencing a 2.4 improvement, so about a 1 mile per gallon more than running on map 2. And so you can kind of see that it does, again, improve your gas mileage. Now, consider I always run in smart mode, because that way it gives me a little kick into sport mode when I need it in the morning, getting to work. And then once I'm on the highway, it goes back into normal mode, and it's all automatically adapting for me. So your results may vary if you don't ride in smart mode. If you ride in normal, then I'm sure you would, not sure, but I can assume that you'd have a lot better gas mileage improvement than what I'm seeing, because you notice you just barely have to touch the throttle for anything. And now on this chart, you're looking at map 3, overlaid the pre-turbo and with turbo, and the purple line is what map 3 is doing. And so you can see some definite gains all throughout, and especially with the G-force, that's how your car is pulling. So you can see that really strong peak right at the beginning, right at the 15 mile an hour mark, and then from there you kind of go like the other one. So you can see the biggest gains on map 3. And here I'm showing a comparison between map 2 and map 3, because some people might be thinking, well, with map 3 there's got to be a big jump. Well, no, you're talking about only an additional pound of boost, if you will, and this will kind of help, I believe, suppress people's appetite, because you can see if you run map 2, you're pretty much running the equivalent of map 3 in the powers, with some small differences. You can see again the strength of it keeps going all the way past 30 miles an hour and beyond. But in general, your initial peak right around 15 miles an hour that you're getting with map 2 and map 3 is almost equal in what you feel in your seat of the pants. And then this is what the chart is telling me also. So most of us can get away with just running map 2 and won't even need to go higher. That way you can just ensure the reliability of your car and the longevity, not messing up any of your components, not burning out your turbo, and just be happy running on the map 2. And this chart is showing all the passes all together all lined up in one, all stacked. And so you can see some definite gains from the dark black line below. If you follow from the far left squiggly line, which is your G-force, all the way through to the right, you can see some definite gains with the orange, red, and purple colors, kind of showing you that the JB4 is making a definite effect on this, as you can see. So before the turbo inlet, my DA was at 6,200, and then all the way till today running at the JB4 Map 3, the DA was at 5901, which was a decrease in 299. The 0 to 60 before the turbo inlet was 8.58, and now after the turbo inlet JB4, I'm at 7.82, which is a 0.51 improvement, or in other words, a 9.7% gain. And then as far as the G-force, before the turbo inlet, it was a 0.55, and now I'm at a 0.73, or a 0.18 improvement, which equals to a 32.7% gain just from a cheap $80, I think it was $80 to build my turbo inlet. And of course the JB4, I think they're, with the whole package, you're looking at about $700, plus your spark plugs if you decide to do plugs like I did. But here you can see overall there's a good improvement. But most of all, like, just making the turbo inlet, I guess it would be a supporting mod, is helping the JB4 do a little bit more. So again, if you're considering it, the supporting mods you do will help not just the JB4, but any type of tune that you might run, because again, the engine is a giant air pump, and the more it can breathe and the better it can breathe, the better the improvement and the better result and more fun that you can have in that car. So I did want to give a review of Map 4. I did test that out the other day, and it actually scared the crap out of me because I heard some other sound coming from the engine bay. I personally don't recommend it for my car. I think that you'll be perfectly happy with Map 2 or 3. I don't know anyone that recommends Map 4 on the K5 GT lines that I could find, but I tried it anyway just so I could give some detail and some feedback on how the car felt. It felt good up until about 30 miles an hour, and that's when I heard another sound come from the engine bay, and it didn't feel all that faster than Map 2 or 3. When I sent the Map 4 logs to the tuner at Burger Motorsports, he found no issues with it. So maybe it was just something that was a fluke on my end, but I just know that I think it's probably more than what we need, but that's just my personal opinion. You do what you need. So just wanted to share that yeah, there was nothing wrong with the product, but it was more my own internal sensors going off, I think. And I still don't know what that sound was that I heard, but running it now 4 days later, no issues with my car, no engine lights. I did check for error codes, no engine codes, nothing. So it's just one of those things that you have to pay attention to your inside voice sometimes, and for me, Map 4 is not where I want to go at this time. The last thing you're gonna ask is the JB4 worth it? And again, that depends on your personality.